Good morning. Happy Wednesday. So, I never know what to talk about until everyone comes on here. I had my outdoor art show this weekend and it was crazy busy and so much fun. Good morning, Ellen. Hi, Irma. How are you? Hi, Christian. Just Denny. Hi, Allie. How are you? Did you have a nice birthday? Hi, Carol Ann. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Mary Eileen. Rosemary. Hello. Color Splash. Knit Napper. I love that name. Hi, Gotchi. Hi, Lori. Hi, Gail. So, yes, I made it through my outdoor art show. It was so much fun and so exhausting. I don't think I'm recovered yet. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Lisa. It was crazy and it was fun, and I loved seeing, like, getting ready for it since I hadn't done it in so long was a huge project, and setting up because good morning, Sarah. Thanks for the granola. You made my day. My neighbor dropped homemade granola off to me this morning in my door. There's like nothing better than that. So yeah, it was busy, and I had a lot of people come to see me, which I love. It was just nice. Life felt kind of normal. It was a great weekend, and I sold a lot of art, so that means I need to start painting again. Hopefully this weekend I'll get to start painting, which is, my favorite thing to do. But I met someone at the show, and they were thinking about buying a pumpkin painting, but I had two different ones, and one was more orange, one was more green. And I apologize if you're here watching. I wrote down your name on my clipboard, but I couldn't find my clipboard this morning to see. Good morning. Love to watch you paint. Thank you. So what she wanted me to try was to paint the one pumpkin painting in a different color palette. And I thought, hi, Ellen. Hi, Anita. I thought it sounded like fun to do. But of course, I'm never afraid to take risks in front of you guys, because I know you're very forgiving if it wouldn't turn out, and I'm also tired, so hopefully it will. But I'm just diving in. Who cares? So let me show you. So she really liked this composition, this painting. So I found this original, and I have this to refer to. And I love, isn't this fun with all those colors in there? I want to try and kind of keep that spontaneity. We'll see what happens. But she liked this color palette. So I practiced this color palette yesterday. Hi, Bill. And so now my goal is to paint an orange painting in greens. So that's a good little brain teaser for me to think about and kind of pay attention to. So we'll see what happens. I've got nothing to lose, right? To tell you, and thank you. Hello. Okay, so let me turn this around. And if I am going a little slower than usual today, I apologize, but I am still really, really tired. It's hard to get up and just start a week again after an art show. I think you need to have a weekend off to start back in. Mary says, good morning from South Carolina. Wednesday is the only morning I get up early. Love to watch you paint. Oh, thank you. Hi, Susie. Whoops, I have to put my chair in here. And I just saw a little color laying here. I wanted to see what... Sometimes I make these in my Inspiring Art group. Oh, if any of you guys are in Inspiring Art, I did do a little video, a little time lapse and stuff of setting up for the show. I have to do a newsletter. But I have these color swatches laying here, and I just saw this color is a really cool one that would work in here. So it's, that has Caribbean blue, Van Dyke brown, and zinc white. I don't have any of those colors on my palette, but they're not quite the same as what's in there. So, but this definitely is. This is Winsor Newton Cobalt Turquoise, and Montserrat Orange and White. I might need to get those colors out. I might just need to get them out. I thought I had that turquoise out here in all my colors. I did find Cobalt turquoise, yes. And what else did I just say it was? Montserrat orange. I love that color. I can usually find out here, right here it is. That's usually out in my palette. So I'm getting those two out just. So it's fun, like if you're looking for a color like that. So whenever I mix a color and I have the wherewithal to think about it, I'll make a little color swatch like this. So these are all, you know, dried oil painting colors. And I've been working on greens in the Inspiring Art group too. So I have all these cool greens. Because I know a lot of colors, but I don't, sometimes if I'm looking for some specific unique color, it's nice to have that pile to look at. Need like a sip of my coffee. I think I got ready this morning. I feel like I'm on the ball. Set that there. Yeah, so it's funny. So now I'm thinking about doing my underpainting. Oh, I also got some new brushes to play with. And I like them. They're Trekell Spectrum Bright. They're still not big. This is the largest one they have, which is significantly smaller than the big brush I normally use, which I might flip back to. Who knows? Let me get one out so I have it right here and ready. But I like their, they're kind of a silky thing, but they keep a nice point and they have a nice bounce to them. So far I really like them. Someone must have suggested them to me, and I can't remember where I heard of them. But, so I've never done this before. I've never tried to paint something where it's a different color than what I'm looking at. But it would be a really good exercise in thinking and paying attention and letting your brain have to do kind of a project like that. I think this brush is too small. I'm going to go bigger. Good morning, Joy. How are you? Just getting some transparent colors out here. Looking for my darker areas. I love these pumpkins are like those ones that are kind of like all, I think they might be called Cinderella pumpkins. Not entirely sure. I have to go. We have a really cool pumpkin farm nearby. It's an Amish farm, and the pumpkins, they have so many cool pumpkins, so I'm hoping to get there soon. So what's new with everybody? Rally your brain. Yeah, I know. It's hard for me to do, Anita. I would think that the tiredness would soon wear off, but I don't sleep well at night, so it takes a while. And it's just been a whirlwind of so many things lately. I'm ready for life to get a little more normal. Whatever that is, right? I'm not sure what normal is anymore. But yeah, I couldn't have had a nicer weekend in Philadelphia. And thanks to every one of you who were here. Allie stopped by. It was her birthday, and she even came to see me on her birthday. Came with her parents, and they went out to lunch. How fun. I'm in Germany enjoying my grandchildren. Oh, Irma, that's right. You were telling me you were traveling. That's wonderful. How old are your grandchildren? Good afternoon to Vienna. Is it beautiful there? Penny Morgan, good morning to Texas. Yeah, I might have to think a little bit more than normal with this. Knit Napper said started a new job with a nonprofit called Project Knitwell, bringing knitting instruction to those facing stressful situations in hospital. Oh, I love that. That's so wonderful. Laura Brady was there too. I got to meet her in person. She's one of my Instagram friends that we met on here, but I've never met her in person. And her artwork's gorgeous in person. Still need to reorganize. Yes, I haven't started to paint, except these little tiny ones, Laura. I haven't done, well, I wouldn't normally do them at this time anyway, but I haven't, like, done any of the stuff, like figuring out which paintings sold and marking them and doing all that kind of stuff. But it does feel good to paint. Caroline says, I was in Asheville last week, went to the art district to visit artists work in their galleries. One artist paints entirely with R&F paints. Oh, really cool, Caroline. I was there not too long ago. One of my dear friends lives in Brevard, which is right next to Asheville. And we went and did all that art thing. And I don't remember the R&F pigment, but that could be a new one too. Or I might not have, when I was there a couple years ago, maybe I didn't even use them at the time. That's so cool. Hopefully I'll get back there again soon. Irma said 2 and 7. That's great. They're little. Keep you busy. Allie says, it was a wonderful way to spend the day. I'm so glad I got to see you in your beautiful booth. Thank you, Allie. Jay Rogers says, sold home of 31 years living in our camper in South Carolina and house hunting. Ooh, that's exciting. That's a fun adventure. It's warm there, right? Yes, it'll stay warm there for a while. So you're going to look for a house nearby where you're parked, right? Anita, yeah, a lot of people did come. It was fun. Did you have fun at art fair? Yes, it was super fun. Good morning, Emily. Love you. Oh, Laura, so you get to go there often. Watching from just outside Zion National Park. My best friend lives in Bavard, owns the cherry tree. Oh, well, I'm sure that my friend Nancy knows of the cherry tree because she's always out and about. Maybe they know each other. Wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't surprise me. So my friend, I don't even know what the neighborhood's called where my friend lives, but that's such a great place to visit. The cherry tree. I have to remind me of that. I'll have to ask Nancy if she knows her. My friend's name is Nancy DePippo. Been a friend of mine forever. Oh, you just came back? Oh, how wonderful. What a nice place to live. Put some brown in there, I think. Oh, I'm going to put some purple in here, too, in my darks, I think. So I'm feeling like purple today. Get the purple out. Irma says, I've been drawing with my grandkids every day. Amazing. Their 2-year-old such long attention span. It is amazing. I think kids just are drawn to art anyway. Like, I had a neighbor behind me when she was little. She came and sat with me, probably about that age, and I was painting at my easel, and she sat while I did an entire painting of our neighbor's dog and didn't even squirm. And she's a busy little girl. So, yeah, I think art does have a really cool thing about it. It's calming, and it's definitely calming to me. Put some purple in here. Might be falling. Ooh, look at those fun drips happening. Traveling state, picking where we want. Oh, wow, that's such a fun adventure. I can't imagine. I've lived in the same town my entire life. That sounds so fun to me. I don't know how well I do with it, but I love the idea of it. Traveling and saying, I think I'd like to live here. I'm going to put some of this fun blue in here as I go. And then do that next layer. I might just let that little drip happen that's going on down there. I like it. So far, so good. Yeah. So far, so good. I think that's good. I think I still need some darks like in here. I think it dripped there, didn't it? I think that dripped away. And my little drip there might be a little too wet, but that's close. What do you think? We'll try it. Yes, I am painting on a wood panel. Not on paper this morning. Just because when she had talked about it was on the panel, and I actually could have probably taken more panel drawings and more paintings, and flat panel ones too. I sold lots of those. And I hardly ever paint on those anymore. I'm just going to dab that a little bit. It's dripping a little. I don't mind the drips though. I guess I don't mind the challenges. I like when it's something's a little crazy to work on. So I don't want to remember where this stem is. Look at me going in with yellow, and that's not the color I'm doing. It's going to end up purple and yellow and not turquoise or whatever that teal or whatever that color is. Never know my teals and turquoises. I barely know the difference. No, Gabby, I use a thing called the ampersand gesso board, and it already has gesso. Oops, I'm tossing this around. It already has gesso on it, so I don't have to. I only gesso my paper. I do gesso canvas too, like when I start a big painting, which I hope to do this weekend, I'll gesso that also. I love the habit of gessoing. It's like mowing the yard. It's very relaxing, and you can think about other things and kind of problem solve. I like having that kind of space in my time to pause. And I think when I have to pause and think like that, I need to keep my hands busy. That's probably why I like it. Busy hands are good. Oh, yes, Emily, I know I need to do a big cow painting for you. It's on my list. You know it. Just keep reminding me. She wants a cow painting for her house. I had artwork at my office. I've been cleaning out my office. We're all going to work remotely because since we went remote, we're just as happy. So there's no reason to keep and take care of an office. And so we cleaned out the whole office, and my son and his girlfriend took a lot of the artwork that I had at the office over the years. It was just things I'd painted as I was, learning and everything. And I think now they're like my biggest collectors because they have so much of my art there. I'm lucky that they like it and wanted it, right? Just a little bit more, and then I can start mixing colors, put a little light, my light areas. Yesterday, did you see the one I posted yesterday when I was painting that? I felt like it didn't turn into pumpkins till the last minute. It was crazy. Well, it's pretty fun. I think I'm just going to stop there. Jane McKee says, good morning. I remember your pumpkins from a year ago. Love them. Yes, I should. I need to go take some pictures of pumpkins, don't I? So let's mix colors. That'll help me stay on track with the colors that I need, right? So I'm going to pull you guys over here with me. Whoops, this is too tight to my table. I actually took this arm that I use to do a little time lapse when I was setting up the art show. And Mike's cousin Donna came to help me this weekend because he had to go back and teach on Friday. Not that I couldn't do it myself, but it's more fun when you have a friend, right? But we were, when we were setting up, when I went to get this ready, I pulled this arm out that I do, and she said, is that thing that creaks on Wednesday mornings? I'm like, yes, Donna, that's what that is. It's my creaky thing. So I love this color. I want to mix this. I kept that out, so let's do a little bit. I think my board, I have a little bit of something wet on there. Now, who would think of mixing this color and this color, right? you can get to the same color a lot of different ways. Like, you don't have to have these two colors to come up with this. It's just sometimes if you have like this little kind of recipe, you can do it without experimenting. Now that light's right there, but I'm going to take this and put a little bit of white in it. Is that what I had? And white, yeah. Let's put some white in there. It's nice, isn't it? So look, that's super close to that, and it looks like a lot of the colors that I have in here. So that's good. That's a nice start right there. Now maybe I'll take, it makes it more charming. Yeah, thank you. All right, I'm going to make this a little more blue, I think. And then pull a little bit of it out and make it even more blue. Maybe I'm going to put a little bit of lemon yellow in and see what happens. Now this is kind of a color palette that I don't do very often, so it's fun to see what happens. I just need some fun brights and calm colors. And I'm going to put some of this blue in here now. It's nice too. I like that. That looks kind of more like the more green pumpkin back here. So I maybe need to make that a little darker too. Let me pull that down. I don't know if these pumpkins, the original ones that I painted, were green or if they were white. They might have been white and I might have skewed them green. Well, that changed that a lot. That didn't stay very dark. I'm going to put more green in there. It's hard when your colors go light, it's hard to get them dark again. So I think I'm just going to put that right there and hold on to it because that's definitely there. I just want a little bit of it and I want to go darker again. That's a nice dark. I want to put just a touch of purple in there. Purple adds a little something sexy to it. Okay, now what else? I need more lights and whites. Let me pull that out of the way so I don't mess that up. I have a sip of my coffee. 8:23, good timing. Maybe I'll take this and go a little blue with it. It might be too blue. These colors are really cool though, aren't they? Okay. Can you see okay? So I might take this and go a little bit later with that. Even more white in it. What else do I need? I have bright greens, so I have this, and I'll add a little bit of my lemon yellow into that for some stems to really make that pop. Maybe I'll desaturate that a little bit and add some red into it because it looks a little too vibrant. That not only desaturated, it completely changed it, didn't it? So I'm going to put, I keep wanting to do this. This is the Torrid Gray. Let's see what we get with that. Sometimes I'll just pick up colors on my palette and mix them together just to see what happens. It kind of turned into a funky gold color. That looked kind of gold. That's not bad for stems though. a little bit of this in here. We'll see what we get, right? Nothing to lose. Yeah, I do love mixing colors. It is so much fun. Now I feel like these colors that I love, I don't have enough of, so I'm going to make a little bit more of that because I know I'm going to dive in there, and the next thing I know, I'll be like, why didn't I make more of that color? Although you really don't need a lot. A little bit goes a long way. That looks very puttyish. Let me get a little bit more of my phthalo green out here too. That wouldn't be a bad color. Jane says, I haven't been able to watch your demos the past couple. It's been so good to join every. Oh, good. I'm glad you're here, Jane. I'm glad it's inspiring. Yeah, sometimes I wake up on a Wednesday morning and I think, oh my gosh, why did I say I would do this? But I always enjoy it, so I know to just go with it. I would be doing this anyway right now. It's just fun having company. I just have to pay attention a little bit more than I would normally. He says, yes, it is. Okay. I think. I don't think I have quite enough for, I'm going to take a little bit of this, a little bit of this. I need a little more of a transition color that's green. I'll put a little bit of this in here. Like a green transition color. I think that's pretty good. And I want to let some of the spontaneous color show through. And obviously I just about ran out of my dark here. Funny how that happens, right? I'm working away and then the next thing I know, one of my colors is missing because I keep mixing them together. But that's what keeps a palette cohesive too, is when there are colors all mixed, colors mixed into other colors. Great start to the middle of the week. Oh, Mary Eileen, it's 6 inches by 8 inches. I'm sorry about that reflection. I have to figure out how to fix that. Middle there. Oops, I have to make sure this is tight so it doesn't fall over. I try. I'm sure I do miss some comments. I try not to, but. And this is an ampersand gesso board, and it's a cradled panel. So I have the sides painted gold, and I try to wire them ahead of time so I don't have to do it later because I don't like doing that part of it. So if I get that chore done before I start, then I'm more likely to use them. It's difficult to paint every morning. Do you paint for just about an hour? And it's a wonderful way to start the day. It's calming to me and fun. And there's no pressure because if I don't like what I paint, I don't have to post it or share it. It's just a peaceful way to start. And it's when I have my coffee. What's everybody having today? I had my special delivery. My friend Martha brought my coffee over to this yesterday and sat and talked on the porch a little bit. She has Fat Cow coffee roasters. And here where I live, they hand deliver their coffee. Instead of shipping it, it's easier just to drop it off. So I love my coffee deliveries. Oh, Michael says, I was late. I missed your comments on the show. Did you love it? Yes, it went really, really well. I loved it. It couldn't have been better weather. I got great feedback on my paintings. I sold more than I've ever sold at a show before. I enjoyed the whole thing. It was very well organized. It was a lot different because of COVID. Drop-off was more tricky because a lot of restaurants had outdoor dining, so there wasn't as much room to set up and stuff. But everyone there was very professional and, helpful. I made a lot of new friends. Yeah, shy of being tired and wishing I had a couple days off before diving back into life. It couldn't have been better. Coffee also. I'm having my coffee. I was going to be good and have tea this morning because sometimes I'm clearing my throat and coughing, and I'm trying not to do that. And I think it might have to do with coffee or food or agita or something. I have no idea. But Then I get up in the morning and I can't say no to the coffee. It just had to happen. It's like tea. I'll drink tea in the afternoon, but I look forward to it too much in the morning, I think. Crazy. And Michael, what I'm doing is, when I was at the art show, there was a person that came and they loved this composition, which is what I'm painting, but they loved this color palette. So I am trying, in the midst of doing all this, to let my brain paint this orange painting in the teal turquoise colors. Michael said, yay, so happy to hear that. Congrats. I love your subject. I painted one of these. I know. I saw your painting. It was beautiful. Green tea latte. Is that hard to make, Eileen? Mary Eileen, do you have to have like one of those fancy coffee makers to make a latte? I hardly ever have latte, but I think the other day, when I was at, it's called, what's the coffee shop called in Philly? La Colombe. I went in there and got a coffee, and I got a latte, actually. And my friend, one of my good friends from college, her son works for that company. I think he does some of their marketing stuff. So it was cool to actually be in the store. But I got a latte, and it was really good. I never order drinks like that. I usually either just get coffee or really coffee, wine, beer, or water. It's about all I drink. And I'm thinking, sorry. I even like the drips. Ellen says, do you ever paint from black and white photo to change the color palette? No, that's a really good idea, Ellen. I didn't even think about that. Brilliant idea. I've never tried it. I'm kind of hoping now that I just have these colors on my palette that it'll kind of naturally happen now, instead of me worrying about so much thinking about which colors are darker and lighter are the same thing. Mary Eileen says, my daughter gave me the Nespresso frother, so it's easy. I put in oat milk and a teaspoon of green tea matcha powder. Oh, and then it frosts, like it does that little thing that goes in and like makes it frothy. That's cool. That's fancy, Mary Eileen. You would laugh. My coffee pot is like from Target, and I think it costs $12. It only makes like a cup and a half of coffee, which is good because then I don't drink too much coffee. But like when I have company here, I have to keep remaking coffee over and over again. So you would think that it would make sense that I would just go buy a real coffee pot, and it is on my list. But we broke our blender like, I don't know, 2 years ago, I think, and I still haven't gotten a new one of those. It takes me a while to solve things like that. It's terrible. But life is so busy. It's hard to find time. And then, you know, even if I am at Target, I'm there with Isabel shopping or whatever, and I'm not thinking about my coffee pot. I'm thinking about her needs. It's smeary. The colors are fun, aren't they? Frothed. Frothed is fun. And froth is such a fun word, isn't it? And you know, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I'm kind of stopping to think. Carolyn said, I always think if you're married to 20, you should have. I agree. Yes. My one friend always said, when you get to 20 years, you should either opt in for 20 more and have a shower or quit. That's a good plan. I like that. Yeah, because you do need everything again. Everything wears out. But it is amazing that, you know, doing showers and all that kind of stuff, like things that I have that people gave me for showers, like when I got married, I don't know when I'm married, like 32 years or something like that. I still remember who gave me, like when I pull things out to, you know, a casserole or whatever, I always think of the person that gave it to me. Isn't that crazy that it sticks with you for that long? Of course, I could remember things much better back then than I can now. Kira. Hi, Kira. How are you? How are you? All right. I need to think about what I'm doing here. I need to go a little more green. I might need to add in some of my light colors so I don't get lost here or lose my confidence is what it is. Like if I start doing something and I'm not sure what I think of it, it's smart for me to do something so that I don't, so I still think it'll work. Like if you start thinking it's not going to work, then a lot of times it won't. It's all in that mindset. Because yesterday, I got to tell you, I didn't think it was going to work. But I knew I had nothing to lose, so I just kept going forward, and it turned out fine. I have my coffee cups in my way here. I need a little bit of blue. Oh, this blue would work in here, I think. That we mixed. All those fun little bumps in the pumpkins are so fun to paint. I'm definitely going to go buy some pumpkins. It's very blue looking. I need to add in some of my turquoisey color so I can see if it's coming together or not. It is like a mind game. Yes, my brain's like flipping around, thinking, now what do I want to do next? I need to put a little more dark in here. Yeah, you wouldn't think it would be hard to do. It's like doing a puzzle. I love a good puzzle. I might need darker in there too to define that area. Here said things are well over here. I've been focusing on watercolors lately, but my brain keeps thinking about jumping into oil pastels again. And thanks, Sheila. I know it's fun to jump around with things. That's one of the best things about art is there's so many different mediums and stuff to play with. Like, and I love watercolor too. I actually on a whim when I bought those new brushes that I was talking about from Trekell, I was looking at like the list of things to buy, and the one thing was masking fluid for watercolor. Well, I hardly ever do watercolor, but I had to have that masking fluid, so now I'm gonna have to do watercolor. I mean, who on a whim has to have masking fluid? I think I remember using it a lot in college when I would have to do, when I was in school, we always had to do marker comps and realistic, like, illustrations of things to, use as projects to show to clients and stuff. And I love doing stuff like that. It would be fun just to do a very realistic painting sometime and see how it turns out. Now I got this new one. Maybe I'll play with it. So I have this new one. This is the brush I usually use, the one in my hand. This is smaller. This is a Trekell brush, but maybe I'll go in here with it for, oh, I still have paint on it. I need to clean it off. It has a nice bounce to it. See how it kind of bounces? I like that. And where else did I want to put some dark? I think I said, well, this I have a little bit. This is all a little darker in here. Oh, what did you say here? Kira says, yes, I haven't used it since college either, but I really should use it because my brush steadiness with coffee intake. That's too much coffee. Yep. It's a lot more blue there than I meant to have, but that's all right. It has to have its own spontaneity too. Like I try not to control everything about a painting. I like when they do their own thing and stuff happens and I just go with it. They are fun colors, aren't they? I agree. I think I need to well, no, I don't really need to soften that. I'll do that. Is that too strong? I think that made this look too blue. I'm just gonna do a little. That's better. That's a good little top there. Something magical. Yeah, wouldn't it be fun to do a really big painting and look at something, but then totally change it, like let it evolve into whatever, and use completely different colors. This will inspire something. There's a lot of paint right there. It kind of, this brush is like pushing it around, but I like how it feels. It doesn't look very dimensional up here. Now I'm not liking that this needs to have dark in here because you see that all looks like it's just flat. It's all flat. It needs something there. A black and white eye. Yeah, that is a really cool idea. Thanks, guys. Maybe that's what I'll do next. Because, yeah, I'm ready to paint a larger painting again. And my husband said to me the other day, last night, he's like, did you start painting something large? And I'm like, no, that doesn't just happen. Like it's a whole process. Like I have to get an idea. I have to be inspired by whatever I'm doing. I dive in gently. I don't think I'm going to like it. It's like a whole thing that has to happen. And then all of a sudden everything clicks. It's a slower process, I'd say, when I do a big painting than when I do a small one. This process is a little more fluid because there's no pressure. Except that I only have 15 minutes to finish. Husbands, yes. I painted my wing chair. Oh, did you do that, Ellen? I love that painting. I love your wing chair. to have a little bit more of a hard edge right there. Keep that a little more dimension. I think so. All right. I'm really liking this brush. I'm liking the feel of it. Good morning, Colleen. Photo and eventually had the cover, like the painting. That's a good way to know if you like something. You paint it, live with it for a while. And then if you love it, you get your chair recovered. That is funny. That bright green is kind of fun. All right, do I have enough of this? I might go a little lighter here. Oh, I think my brush was a little dirty there. I might need to clean it off. Good morning, Vicki. So my Penny, I'm an unplanned artist. Kira said, how do you know when to add warmer colors and keep the cooler colors in your style? I have no idea, Kira. I've been trying more to not think as much and just trust my intuition as I'm doing things. So I'm not even really thinking about cools and warms, even though I probably should be. I always kind of say it's a good idea to learn all the things so that you have them in your toolbox, like in your mind, and then forget it all and trust your intuition as you go through it. I would say that's kind of how I work. It's kind of how I live my life, actually. I'm very much an intuition person. And that's very artistic, I guess, way to do it too, right? I mean, you guys all would understand more than, like, my husband. And I want to there's some glow right there. I don't want to lose that. And same with this purple. Like I want to keep a little bit of that glow. Maybe I already lost it though. It happens. She said, I love those artists that plan and envy them sometimes. Yeah, same. Yeah, I feel like I don't have enough control over my life to plan very much, though, because, you know, like if work gets busy, then everything falls to the side. And, yeah, I can't. If I plan and then I'm not successful at what I plan to do, then I get frustrated with myself. So I just let things evolve naturally. And it does seem to work. I do forget that, though. That's the problem. You've got to keep reminding yourself that that's how it works and trust the process of it. You know, you can't make progress, even with growing your art practice or figuring out, you know, how to paint and all those kinds of things. It just evolves naturally. You don't even have to give that any thought at all. Oh, yes, that's right, Lisa. I love that. Learn the rules like a pro so you can break them like an artist. That's perfect. Yeah, and then stress happens. Yeah, when you have no control. And I never do have control, but I don't like to know that, right? If I set things up, then it feels like that. And then I feel out of control. I wonder little bit of gold here from yesterday, but it's wonky. I'm not going to use that. Just kind of dancing around my palette a little bit. Trust the process, yeah. Trust the process. Sorry, I'm thinking so hard right now. I want to get that to come a little bit. Oh, is that a Picasso? I love that. That's perfect. I should write that down. That is totally what I'm doing these days, trying to do anyway, aiming for. And it is so much more fun when you allow things to kind of evolve naturally. The process is more fun. All right, is that starting to look? Yeah, he sure did. I could play around with this for hours. What is it, 8:52? I'm still doing all right. I see any spots that I'm missing that I can't, I'm sure I have them. I don't feel like I'm quite pulling it together yet, but it could happen still. Because I do like the spontaneity. Now that doesn't need to be like that. I said, great job pulling it together. I don't know if I'm there, but it could happen. You know, I always try to hit that time. That might have helped a little bit. I think that's distracting me. I have to think about that. Oh, and right here, I don't like, this needs to go back. There's a lot to think about. Trouble keeping my darks really dark. So now this still looks a little more yellow, but no, it's getting there. I think I need to just put a few more highlights. Maybe that will help it. I'm holding my breath. That's helping it a little bit, isn't it? I'm just talking to myself. You don't have to answer me. And that can go lighter right here. This will help, I think, too, when I do this. That I definitely needed. That's bringing that up a lot more. It is amazing. Yeah, you kind of, I get like that. Like I think, oh, it's not working or whatever. And then you just choose one thing. And sometimes those one things you have to think harder about before you do them. But that's still a little wonky. Let me get, what do I have? 56. Wow. I think I need to be finished here. So I like that better when it was yellow, more yellow. I need to just call her done. That way I won't overwork it, right? I'm going to sign it. Whoops, sorry about that. Ooh, I didn't mean to make it that thick. Now, wait a second. All right, well, anyway, you get the idea. I will save this and post it into YouTube. And on my website. So that's what I did. I took this, I painted this in a different color palette. I think I still need to fuss with that just a little bit before I call it finished. But as usual, thanks for hanging out with me today. It was very fun, and I'll save these things and put them on my website and on my YouTube channel. Go to my YouTube channel if you get to and watch videos and like them and comment and stuff, because I need to keep that going too. Houston Museum is hosting a wonderful Van Gogh exhibition. Yeah, I didn't get to go to that. I heard that it's wonderful. Bye, Allie. Bye, Gail. Bye, Jane. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk soon. Thank you. See ya.